this track, fam.
Well, hi guys. Gotta have a little orange on for tonight.
All right. Usually I don't play with memorabilia or get my hair caught in it. But tonight I thought I'd play with a little bit of memorabilia since Chicago Bears are playing in orange jerseys and the new orange helmets. I believe Roquan Smith thought it'd be pretty cool, and he said it'd be kind of cool to come out looking like a highlighter or something. I think that's what he said earlier in the week. Um, Coach Chef is not on with me tonight. He has got some other obligations. I do have another co-host. It is Kristen. She is on the show Plunked. She's an expert for, I believe it's the Cubs, but she does know a lot about the Chicago Bears. So she will be co-hosting with me tonight versus Diab. So I don't know, Frank, if you want to bring her on. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
My hair's a little bit of a mess after that little ordeal.
well, the helmet sometimes can do that. I'm a disgruntled Cubs expert, but I also do talk a lot about the Bears. When the clubhouse originally started with T Nick, it was T Nick, myself, and Emilio, and so we started out talking about the Bears all the time.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm usually a disgruntled fan. But there was some positives, so I'm okay for now.
Well, usually Diab does the rundown for us, and I kind of threw one together today.
Okay. All right.
We're going to kind of see how it goes here. Usually I let him take the reins.
Right.
Last week's game, kind of a recap of it. I don't know if Frank or any of you guys had the highlights from last week's game down there in Minnesota to pull up. I guess I never did ask that before I come on. Watching the game, what did you think?
I don't understand why we don't use the second half game plan in the first half, but that is whatever. It's still always a shock to see adjustments because we have 4 years of no adjustments. I didn't go overboard with what was good, but it was an easier loss to take because I did see some improvements. You saw a couple of people make big plays, like when does Bill Dorr ever make a big play? But he did. So that was good. Justin looked comfortable. There were some big plays made, a great catch by Darnell Mooney. But, I'm still not going to go overboard. And someone said moral victories. I mean, that's really all we have this year, right? Because when you look at the schedule past the Commanders, yeah, I mean, we might look up on a win or two more, but this is it. And so last week there were improvements. That's all that we really can hope for this year because there isn't much talent. There's not enough talent. Everyone has talent because they made it to the NFL, but game changing, you can win with talent. There's not enough of that. So all we can take from most of these games are moral victories. So I guess I'll give them this is their first kind of moral victory because even their other victories are like, ugh, it was awful. So
it was I was down there and of course, sorry about that. I hope that didn't come through. I was down there and I watched the game. The first half, I was just like going like this. Oh, because during the first half, the Vikings, I was sitting right in the end zone, and there was some plays that looked like our defense just let them walk right in to score. And that was heartbreaking because I did have some Bears fans around, but then you got all the Vikings fans and like Cook just kind of, it looked like they just let Cook walk in on the one. And I'm just like, here's me going, oh my God.
I mean, the man did go 17 for 17.
Yep. And then when Mooney caught that one, here's me because it was down on the other end of the field at that time. I'm watching it on the big screens because like there's one right here and then there's one there, and I'm watching it and I'm like, here's me. I just jumped up, started screaming and yelling, and if you know me, I was maybe antagonizing some Vikings fans. Look at that, how about that? Comment. I'm a Notre Dame girl, and I haven't seen them use comment as much as they did as they did in that Vikings game. So here's me. I was just cheering to see that. I was like, yeah. And he did have a couple of big plays that got us to where we needed to be, kind of, I don't know what you want to call them, clutch plays, because we really needed that to happen. So that was nice to see. One play I tell you ever want to look like a Bears fan with Minnesota Vikings people standing all around you with a few Bears people? It was in the second half when Bears were scoring right in front of me, and Justin Fields, what was it, 53-yard run or whatever, and illegal block in the back. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, Marset didn't do it. I'm like, he was freaking playing, and you got things are like, no, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that's just a bunch of BS. Take him back to the Vikings. Well, or did I say that? And he handed it to the Vikings, basically.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, Marset. I'm like, oh my God.
His name is just do too much, because just go out of bounds. You know, you were trying to prove something to the Vikings, and you proved the Vikings right for getting rid of you. Like, they're like, see, that's why he's not here anymore. Like, just go out.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wait, what happened here?
You gotta love our producer, Frank. Frank did an awesome job about throwing some of that in there.
That was pretty much what it was too. Like, that part was heartbreaking. And then what was also bad, like, even though we have all the kudos in the second half, the way that the defense just at the end, that last drive, like that was a little, after they had done so well in the second half and shutting them down, or you know, kind of shutting them down, and to give up that last touchdown drive. And then number 17, like, does he still have a job? Is he still there?
Yep, Marset is still there. The one I question though is Pettis. Does Pettis still have a job?
Yeah.
I want to call him fumble bobble hands. I can't tell you how many chances Pettis has had over games in the past, and he.
Oh, wow.
I can't tell you
his hands
how
aren't
many.
that good. He would miss his slide. His hands aren't that good. He could even hit that. He wouldn't be able to do that.
No.
It is awful. It's just, and then they just keep calling his number. But I know they have to, because what are their other choices? But he doesn't need his number called anymore.
No. The one Frank is waiting for is probably the touchdown by Vallejos Jones. Oh, he doesn't even have it.
Oh no, Frank.
Hi, I'm David Jones.
He did have it.
Well, I'm glad he redeemed himself
He did.
from the game before. And, you know, all you kept hearing about was, can't wait till this guy gets back. Can't wait till he gets back. And then when he got back and he did that in the game, I was like, why? I mean, we could wait. But then he did redeem himself. And so looking for more from him tonight. Looking for more of the second half playbook in the first half tonight. They can do a lot for themselves by having a good showing on national TV. The narrative for Justin Fields can possibly change. Of course, it'll always be, well, it was against the Commanders, but so what? You can't control your schedule. And it's worse if they lose to the Commanders, all that goodwill, all the moral victories, that's gone away, especially if he looks bad.
Well, the one thing that the Vikings did probably shut down. Sorry, I was reading their comments on there.
Yeah. We're young, and I know we had to learn from mistakes, but okay.
Yeah.
They better learn.
The one thing the Vikings were able to shut down on us was the run game.
Yeah.
Last week, 78 rushing yards is all we had. 47 of them were Justin Fields. I think Montgomery only had 20. And this is a team, we are ranked 5th in the NFL for rushing. So that was hard to watch that, because we didn't have that run game last week.
No.
But our passing game went from down here to up here. And Fields went from, I believe, 50% pass complete in his last game on an average to 71% in the Vikings game. So there was a huge turnaround between our rushing and our passing. It's like we almost flipped it from where our rushing's been our game before, our passing not so much. Passing pulled through last week, rushing didn't.
Yeah, with the Bears, we just can't ever have two things. It's one or the other. It's like Friday. You got the ham without the burger. You got the cereal without the milk. We can't have them be able to block for pass and block for run. It's one or the other. And you know that the line is actually ranked 8th for their pass. I was like, what game? What game are they watching? Because I know what I watched. The man's using for his life. Yeah, they're not ranked that their ranking isn't that bad compared to what we see. Because we see bad. And I don't even think that line's changing. It is a short week, so I guess they couldn't really, or they didn't want to change Mustapher. But I know I read some comments from you, bro. Your guy is still there. Unless something changes at the last minute, your guy is there.
But Mustapher, I can't tell you, he watching that penalties on him in that game, and I'm just like, really?
There's Brooke's guy.
Oh.
He's a lovely young man, but maybe he needs to play someplace else on the line. I'm not saying get rid of him, just maybe he needs to go someplace else. What I wonder is there's something still wrong with Patrick Tan? Like, why are they refusing to make this change? I know this week, I understand, short week, but even before, it's not like last week was the first week Mustapher was showing us that this may not be it for him.
No, definitely not. Frank did say they do have some clips of last week's game. If he wants to kind of go over some of the highlights real quick and play that.
Lined up against Kendall Vildor on the near side. Right to Cook, walks in. Now it's a touchdown.
You only go out with 10.
So it's 1st and 15. Screen pass set up for David Montgomery. Welcome back to the Bears. They missed his ability in the open field. Fields, quick throw, bobbled and dropped by Dante Pettis. Fields, quick throw, bobbled and dropped by Dante Pettis. 10th play of the drive. Another play action. Cousins has to fire on the move, and he finds Jefferson yet again. It's the best start of Kirk Cousins' career. No tight ends here, 4 receivers. Using Smith as one of them. Backwards pass to Jefferson. Throwback for Dalvin Cook with blockers in front. And a first down. It is 1st and goal for Minnesota. A little toss play here on the inside to Jalen Reagor. Here on the inside to Jalen Reagor. Pressure from the Vikings. Good protection for Fields, and it is dropped. Dante Pettis.
And it is dropped.
Backer Morrow goes out there to play him.
Cousins under pressure, and the Bears finally get to the Viking quarterback. Timeouts. They'll get the ball to start the second half. This is a huge drive for Justin Fields. Taking a shot for Darnell Mooney. What a catch! Absolutely incredible.
I mean, just they go and look, go ahead. Just stick your paw out there.
Here's Montgomery speeding ahead, spinning in for the touchdown. Well, get to Montgomery. Fields, good touch pass, and it is Equanimous St. Brown.
There is some talent there from a passing standpoint.
Fields spins away using that athleticism. Justin Fields picks up the first down with his legs. Little pop pass. Velus Jones. This is what he can do. And Velus Jones is in for his first NFL touchdown.
I'm David Jones. Really nice leverage play by Gordon.
Late blitz coming. Cousins calmly gets rid of it. And it's Irv Smith tackled before he gets to the sticks, and it's Kyler Gordon on the other side of the field at 42. Play action fake. Roll, and Vildor is there! His first career interception! And the first... And after trailing by 18 points, the Bears have taken a 1-point lead. Cousins trying to sneak it. And Kirk Cousins! They're already popping off the fireworks. No signal yet. It looked like he was in, and he is. Fields. Underneath, he finds the former Viking Amir Smith-Marset, and it's stripped away by Dantzler! Takes it down into Bears territory.
We were doing so good up to that last play.
Once he made that move, got the first down, go out of bounds.
Yep.
And then the guy snatched the ball, didn't even fall. You know, sometimes when you snatch something away, you kind of fall backwards. Not him. He stayed up. It was just.
Why can't you hold on to the football? It's so goddamn hard about holding on to it.
I'm sorry.
All you got to do is hold on to the goddamn football, and you can't do it. Tell me why you can't do it. Just tell me. That's all I want to know.
I'll try better next time.
Come on. Hey. You walk away from me.
I can't see Eberflus doing that, but go ahead, Eberflus. Go ahead and do that. Somebody on the team needs to do that. Maybe Justin will do that. He needs to do that to Pettis, too. I noticed that he never got another target after that, after those two, right?
Pettis. I have no love for him anymore. I have none. He had the one good catch in the game where he was wide open, no one around him. That was it. Since then, he's been hands. I don't know if he greases his palms before he goes to catch the ball.
Yes. He needs to get whatever Darnell Mooney had. That's what he needs. Those are the type of gloves he needs. And you know, there's probably a reason why he's probably the only one who ever gets open on the team, because other teams like, no, he's not gonna catch it. Leave him alone. Cover everybody else. He is going to drop it. So
exactly.
And, you know, watching that, I'm going to try to join you. Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate you, Marvin's perspective from the other side. He made out office. Yeah, well, that's why he's wide open, Frank. And like T niggas always said, everyone has a birthday. So once in a while, Pettis is gonna make that good catch. But then the next 5 to 7, not gonna be good. And you know, watching that, you almost forgot that they were gonna lose at the end when you were watching all the good plays for the Bears. And when they got the field goal to go in the lead, I had to say to myself, oh yeah, they do lose. Never mind. And I was feeling good and excited, but they do lose at the end. But it's going to be a lot of losing. So we're just hoping everyone learns, gets better.
And that was probably some of their best playing. And even walking out of the stadium, and I have to say this, when I was down in Minnesota, maybe it was just the section I was in, the people I was with, you know, it was great people from the tailgating with the VWO members to, you know, the super fans. Billy Defense was down there with First and 10 tailgating from Chicago, and great group of people all around. And I had the Bear stuff on. My daughter, they talked her in to, she first started off tailgating with my Urlacher jersey on top of an Adam Thielen jersey, on top of an Aaron Rodgers jersey, because she is a Green Bay Packer fan, my little daughter.
Oh, wow.
Coming from this house, I know. So she gets down there and she takes a picture with Sir Death. And so she rips off the Brian Urlacher jersey. And I'm like, hand that to me. We ain't losing this sucker. And so she takes a picture with them and they're like, we see that green on underneath. Take it off. Take it off. So down there tailgating, they, encouraged her to wear her Packers colors. And Packers were up against the Giants because the tailgating down there, there's people that had TVs in back of pickups. There was, I don't even know which one to call them, trailers with big screen TVs that were showing the game in London at the time. And so she took off the Adam Thielen jersey. She was running around with Rodgers. She was proud. They were embracing her. Great group of people to be down there with. And I tell you, she walked into that stadium proud as to be with that Packer jersey on, everything else. We're sitting there. I'm watching the Bears down below, because we were 10 rows up from the thing. You got the field and then you got your first stand there. We were 10 rows up, but I'm down there because Chicago's thing is right on our side where they go in and out and watching the things, taking pictures. All of a sudden on the big screen, it showed the Green Bay Packers Giants game, showing the Giants had won. The whole stadium erupted with cheers, and I am screaming, yes, the Packers effing lost. Yes. I'm like, I turn around and go, you see that, little girl? And, well, of course, she wasn't there at the time. She went up into the stands to get something else. And
I see that
so it was amazing. And then all of a sudden, my Chicago Bears pullover went on over her Packer thing. So she wore my Chicago Bears pullover for the rest of the game. All right. So Frank says I need to apparently get moving on.
Okay.
Usually Diab has the time frame down. I don't.
Okay.
Real quick before we break it down, I'll quick go over this because I know we do this every week with Diab and I. The NFC North games quick rematch. Obviously, we know the Packers lost to the Giants, which we are all happy about that.
It's always a good Sunday when they lose.
Yep. The Lions were shut out by the Pats. Completely shut out. 0-29. So they're obviously going to stay in the basement. We know that. We don't need to go over the Bears because we obviously know how that game ended. So going into this week, I don't know, did you have a chance to look at the injury report at all?
Yeah, I didn't really see anyone like Jalen Johnson's back. Was it Neil? What's his name? Why can't I think of his name? That guy's back, or he's off the injury list. They don't know how much he's going to play.
I think the only one that I saw that was possibly still not going to play was our defensive back, which is it Dane Shank?
Oh yeah, I think he may not play.
I think that's
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So as far as the IR goes for Chicago, we are basically going in with all of our players.
Keel Harry, I can't say his name, so excuse me, fans. He is actually inactive. They say it looks like he'll make his debut at New England on the 24th.
But he's not even a starter, isn't he? Is he a wide receiver?
Yeah, so we'll take any of them to try someone besides Pettis.
There you go. Yeah, besides Pettis. Anybody besides fumble hands, bobble hands, whatever you want to call them. Grease palms.
But it's going to be exciting for Jalen Johnson to be back.
Yes.
And so I know they're going to pick on others, and not really go to him that much, but it's just nice to have that, as someone else in the sports world say, that the juice that he brings. So it's going to just be exciting to see him back, know that side of the field will be relatively covered, hopefully.
Yes. And I'm going to be honest, last week, I think if Jalen was playing, there might have been a few big plays for Minnesota that were stopped, but we will never know.
No.
Unfortunately, we got to take it as we go in stride. It's one of those things we can always sit there and say. The Commanders, I still want to call them the Redskins. So sorry. I still want to call them the Redskins. They have quite a few out on their injury reports. William is at Jackson the third. Looks like cornerback is out. Logan Thomas, tight end. Is that Jonathan Dotson, wide receiver? Or no, Johan Dotson. Obviously, I can't read my writing, and I'm not.
I can tell you, I pulled up the Commanders. So wide receiver Johan Dotson, cornerback William Jackson III, quarterback Sam Howell, safety Percy Butler, Jonathan Williams. I don't know what they didn't say what he plays.
Running back.
There we go. I guess this is tackle Sam Cosme, and tight end Logan Thomas.
And see, I even got it looks like, is it Damian Brown, which is a wide receiver?
No, he must be
questionable.
Playing.
Is he playing now?
So I think he's playing.
He's playing. And the other thing for the Commanders is Carson Wentz is actually going in with a bicep tendon strain, which is on his throwing arm. But he will be starting. So Wentz, not sure if we're going to ball out Wentz, or if we're going to get I'm just going to be half mediocre Wentz. Not really sure which Carson Wentz is going to show up for this game, to be honest.
I think it depends on if Brian Robinson, the running back, he's back after his shooting, being shot. I think it probably depends on how well he plays. Because they may not need him if he runs well. They may only need him for a few short passes. And Thursday night, supposedly his night, but I think the Bears changed that for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Well,
Frank. Or Velvet Jones.
Hi, I'm Velvet Jones.
With you.
So, yes, I'm glad. I think Carson Wentz has a lot to prove after being kind of called out by his coach, but then his coach apologizing for saying the difference between his team and the other teams in the East is the quarterback. I mean, how do you say that? And then you want this man to go out there and play. But Carson Wentz, I mean, he didn't perform for the Colts. He got replaced, in the hearts and minds of the Eagles fans by Nick Foles. And he hasn't been that great now. And then his own coach came out. So I think he has a lot to prove. And if their running game goes well, then play action is going to, work out for him. But I just, both teams, like, I know someone who is a Washington fan, and they're thinking the same way Bears fans are. Oh, this is that get right game. And so that's a shame that we think like, oh, the Commanders, whatever, this is get right. This is everyone to show their skills and change the narrative. Well, Washington is thinking the same thing about playing the Bears. They don't care. Jalen's back. They don't care about Roquan because the Bears have shown they can't really stop the run either. So we'll see.
Well, I do know the whole big joke was, last Thursday night's game with the two teams playing last Thursday night. It got brought up. This Thursday night's game is not going to be much better with the Bears and the Commanders. Well, we hope this Thursday night's game is going to be a lot better than watching last Thursday night's game with Denver.
9-6. That was a baseball score.
Yeah.
Al Michael said if he gets another game like last Thursday, this Thursday, he may have to consider retirement.
Yeah.
Because that's how bad. He's like, I can't keep calling these awful games.
No, that was a bad Thursday night game. I honestly have to say it. A lot of people are thinking what the NFL was thinking when they come up with the Thursday night games, Monday night, Sunday night games, because we've had some doozies this year, but that's not to say it's going to be the same every year because we don't know what to do when the NFL makes the schedule. We just got to roll with it.
If you're the schedule maker, Brooke, are you ever choosing the Bears and the Commanders after watching last year? Are they ever going to be one of your prime time, at least this year, after last year? And then you saw what they did in the offseason. They're not coming on my prime time.
No, if I'm gonna do a primetime game, I'm gonna put a rivalry as a primetime game. You know, primetime game tonight would have, for me, it would have been the Minnesota Vikings Chicago Bears game. Or Bears Green Bay or Green Bay Vikings. For us, it would have been at least a rivalry game out of some division, whether it be AFC or NFC, regardless, north, south, east, or west. But a rivalry, because those are the people that want those wins. Because a rivalry win is going to beat, if you got more rivalry wins, say you're at a tie. Just like we know it. So say Chicago comes out 4-4 with Green Bay, and maybe Green Bay has 5, and we're going for a playoff thing. If Green Bay has 5 of the division wins, and Chicago has 4, but we're at a tie thing, it's going to go to Green Bay. Because, I mean, those are the games you need on primetime, because those are the most hard-fought games in the NFL. It's not going to be West against North.
Right. And then, I know Justin's young, exciting. Okay, you could have put him with another young, exciting. Carson's not young. Carson's not exciting.
No.
So I don't understand what they were thinking. And it's not Ron Rivera coming home type of thing. Like, I don't understand this. But, it is here. We'll watch it. We'll I expect a good game from the Bears. But I've expected that several times and been also disappointed. So we'll see.
Now, Diab usually breaks this down a little bit better than me, but he's the football coach. He knows the positions. He knows everything. He usually does offense, wide receivers, running backs, all that stuff. Right now, Chicago's offense is ranked 31st from what I pulled today on this game. Washington is ranked 19th. Their defense is ranked 32nd. Our defense is ranked 5th. Our passing is ranked 32nd for the Bears. Theirs is 10th. Our rushing, Chicago's ranked 5th. And they're ranked 28th. It's kind of evens out when looking at these numbers that I pulled on what team's going to be better. For offense, if Chicago can play like last week in the second half, I'm going to give the offense to Chicago. Okay. I mean, I can't give it to Washington after watching that game and seeing what we did and how fast we got it done. So for offense, for me, I have to go with Chicago.
Okay. Oh, based on your stats, yeah, I'll go with that as well. Justin's not injured. He's riding high. Carson got dogged by his coach, so he might be a little low on himself. So yeah, I agree, and not just going off of feelings, based on the stats that you on paper. Yes, it should go to the Bears.
Now, wide receivers, and I'm going to be honest, and as I tell you, I really don't pay attention to the teams that are outside the North as much as I should. And obviously last Sunday, I didn't watch any game besides the Chicago Vikings game. Wide receivers, I know who we have for wide receivers and our tight ends. Cole Kmet had 4 catches last week, most he's seen. Probably most he's been thrown to throughout the season. But he did good. Our wide receivers, if Darnell Mooney can keep up those catches like we know he can, and I don't know the Commanders. I can't tell you exactly their wide receivers, their tight ends. It's just not a team I watch, guys. I am so sorry.
So, the names you might recognize is that Terry McLaurin. I think he is pretty good.
I've seen that one on fantasy because I do play.
Yeah. Logan Thomas is the tight end that would be good. He's out. So
he's out.
Yeah, I don't see these other wide receivers, and then the Johan Dotson. I think he's a starter, and he's out. So they're down to their wide receivers are looking like the Bears though. So I mean the Bears have the edge because they have Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet. If they didn't have them, it would probably be a wash because it's just like it's a bunch of who is that versus who is that. So I guess you can give it to the Bears.
That's what I was thinking on that. Now defense, he breaks it out down to defensive tackles, safeties, quarterbacks. I'm not that inclined to break it down because, like I said, I know nothing about the Washington. But knowing that we have Jalen Johnson back this week, knowing, Eddie Jackson he usually has an interception a game. Mm-hmm. Now we put Vildor into the mix last week. So we know our defense can produce. They normally don't allow a touchdown in the second half. Mm-hmm. Last week was a fluke. out of 5 games, that's the first time Chicago allowed a touchdown in the second half. So I am hoping our second half defense tonight shows up in the first half and in the second half. But
so their defense is kind of ranked above the Bears.
Bears have 5th ranked defense.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Their defense is ranked 32nd.
That's right. I'm sorry. I was looking at it wrong.
And if considering Justin Fields has a no interception game like last week, he did not throw an interception. He did not lose. Well, he almost lost the ball. Almost, but it was recovered back by the Bears. That is the first game that Justin Fields has not thrown an interception, was last week. Clean game by him. I am hoping he does the same this game. So our defense doesn't have.
You can't give a team that technically on paper is not more talented than you. You can't give them life.
It's any given Sunday, but unfortunately today is any given Thursday. So I have to hopefully go with our Bears defense because I know in the second half we rock it out. I'm just going to hope they rock it out in the first half and sack Carson, and maybe he goes out of the game because his bicep tendon is hurting a little bit more on that throwing arm. I hate to say it, just if you jiggle that bicep a little bit, it might just be too much for him to throw.
Yeah, and then next, I guess, will be the Taylor, Heineke, whatever, who played last year that people thought, oh, maybe he'll be the starter, and then they went for Carson Wentz.
But he didn't do too bad last year.
Yeah, that's why some people thought that maybe they would give Taylor a chance. So you almost don't want Carson Wentz to lead the game because Chicago teams overall, no matter what the sport is, when it's someone that they don't really know that well, they destroy us. So if they don't know their tendencies that well, this guy will get in here and destroy us. I think he can run a little, so he can escape pressure. If I remember from last year when he was playing, he did a little running. So take that back, Brooke. We don't want Carson Wentz out.
No, after that, no, we don't. His bicep can handle a little bit more jiggling.
That's right. Yep. Just stay in there.
Hey, Diab.
Hi, Diab. I hope I'm doing you proud. I don't know all the information like you. I am not a coach.
That's what I said.
So Brooke and I are doing our best with the coach part.
Yeah. As he knows, I am not the facts and stats. Mm-hmm. Well, I leave the stats all to him. That's all his deal.
We're doing our eye test.
Exactly. There is one thing, and I know Diab, he always likes it. It's like a little fun fact that I finding mission on the other teams. And really, I couldn't find much on Chicago and Washington's history. We've played 51 times. Out of the 51, there were 7 post-game season. The series sits at 24, 26, and 1. Obviously, we are the 24. They're 26 and 1 tie. So we are 1 game behind Washington in the series. Now, the one fun fact is in 1940, for the NFL championship game, we went against, Washington Redskins at the time, now the Commanders. They had played, I don't know if it was a couple weeks beforehand in November earlier that year. The game score, and I think I wrote it down, it was 3-7. Chicago had lost. The coach Marshall was kind of antagonizing Hollis, our head coach, owner, and basically called us a bunch of crybabies and quitters. Hollis took that to the Bears and said, this is what he's calling us. He used it to fire up the Chicago Bears, our team. The next 2 games, Chicago scored 78 points in those 2 games before they went to the NFL championship in 1940. In 1940, on December 8th, for the NFL championship, Chicago walked all over the Washington Redskins, 73-0. Chicago still holds the record for the highest, basically, point-winning margin in NFL history to this day by beating the Washington Redskins 73-0. And the officials even asked them going into the second half to stop kicking extra points because our kicker for Chicago was kicking them into the stands and they were running out of footballs.
Wow.
So that's my little fun fact for this week against
Washington. How do you allow a team to score 73? That's crazy. I mean, it's like the defense wasn't even on the field for Washington.
Well, you know,
73?
Marshall maybe should have kept his mouth quiet when he was running his mouth to the reporters, calling us a bunch of crybabies and quitters. It was enough to get Papa Bear all fired up, and he got that locker room going.
Now that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Somebody talks about this. They're like, so
it doesn't work nowadays because you're going to get a ref to call roughing the passer on a sack.
Oh my gosh.
Those
last 2 roughing the passer for Brady, and then the one was it the Raiders?
How do you rough the passer on a sack?
I don't know. I don't understand.
These refs are out of control.
They are. It's they're okay. The flinging someone over. They're trying to protect that because now with Tua when he got, but it's crazy, and it's not even roughing the passer. It's not extra force. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary, or they're not endangering them. It's just, so what are they supposed to do? So now is it going to be like flag? Are the quarterbacks going to start wearing flags? And so if you can grab their flag, that's going to be a sack.
Now, I mean, isn't that what is it, the All-Star?
Yeah, it is going to be flag football.
Is it gone to flag football?
Yes.
Is that what I heard this year? It's flag football?
Yes, it is. Which I guess will be more interesting than the terribleness that was the Pro Bowl. No one cares about that. I just don't want football players playing in the Pro Bowl and messing up something. Who wants a season-ending injury happening in the Pro Bowl? You should just go there, have a few skills competitions, making like linebackers be quarterbacks, or do something, just do something interesting. But that, with the quarterbacks, in a minute, it is going to be a flag. If you can grab their flag, you have tackled them, you have sacked them, because you can't do anything. You can't touch them. And I'm not saying anyone needs to be injured. I'm not saying that they need to hit them with all their force, touch a famous QB jersey equals. Yeah. And it was even with Patrick Mahomes. It's like, and I know who was it? Joe Buck or Mike Greenberg said they were probably protecting Patrick Mahomes because if he gets hurt and they're playing the Bills next week, but it wasn't even a play where he was going to get hurt. So there was nothing to protect. So you're saying no one can hit Patrick Mahomes because he has to face Josh Allen? and you don't want anyone to be, you don't want anyone to be injured. Aaron Rodgers and Ken Down. You might as well, whoever did that, you might as well add every star quarterback. You can't touch Josh Allen. You can't touch Patrick Mahomes. You can touch Justin Fields all day. You can
exactly
fly. He's not considered a star right now. I mean, Chicago is the place where quarterbacks go to die. But hopefully this does not happen with Justin. But they're not helping him out by not calling, any penalties on these late hits. But
well, and it's not just late hits. I've seen Fields take helmet to helmet,
yeah,
and they don't call that, and it's just like you can call it any other quarterback, but you won't call it for Justin. Like you almost got knocked out in the 49ers game. That 49er player could barely stand up, and here's Justin Fields. That boy pops right up, and he's like walking up. Here's the 49er man still down crawling. I'm like, you hit him head on head, and you're the one who knocked yourself silly.
Well, think about it, Brooke. If the Bears finally get a relevant quarterback, what will the NFL have to talk about when it comes to Chicago? They enjoy the running joke of Sid Luckman.
Yep, they do.
It's like every time they're on prime time, I'm sure we're going to see that we should have an over-under or how long it takes before they show the stats of the gazillion Bears quarterbacks. And the last good one was Sid Luckman, blah, blah, blah. Every national broadcast, they have to tell us that. We know, we live here. But it's exactly. You get that is what it is, Vernon. I swear it's going to become a flag football, but they don't want to see Chicago thrive in the quarterback thing because then they've lost their big thing. It's deep dish pizza, a hot dog, and no quarterback. That's what they talk about every time they're in Chicago.
And I see a lot of stuff. Everybody keeps still. Jay Cutler hasn't been with us for years, and you still see the Jay Cutler jokes. Yeah. I mean, that's all Green Bay can still talk about.
Yep. And Green Bay needs to be quiet because Aaron Rodgers is probably retiring after this year, and good luck with what you have coming up next.
Yeah, Love isn't showing any promise. I've seen Love, and Love is way worse than Justin Fields.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So I'm almost betting Green Bay is going to be looking for a QB to draft this year in first round. Yeah. I'm almost.
They need to if they still don't trust. I mean, they begged Aaron Rodgers to come back, and then they didn't give him. Not that I'm trying to help out Aaron Rodgers. It's not like he has much around him either. No, he and Devontae Adams have probably been texting each other. I miss you, little emojis and everything. Yeah. I want you back. Playing little songs for each other because they realize they need each other.
They do. Devontae had a little. I think Devontae was showing his frustration of missing Aaron last week because he pushed the cameraman.
Yes,
that was his frustration of send me back to Green Bay. I missed it.
Well, you went to Derek. I mean, I'm not saying Derek Carr is bad, but he's not what you left. But anyway, I'm sorry we've gotten off of our Bears pregame. This is all about Bears and what we think they're going to do and what they better do on Thursday night against the Commanders.
With that on there, do you have a score prediction for tonight?
Yes. I predict the Bears win, and my score is going to be 28-17.
That's not too bad.
Watch out, that would be so wrong. I'll place a bet based on me, kids.
Lately I've been kind of half close when I've been doing these scores. Last week I picked the Vikings to win, and I wasn't off by much. I think the Vikings scored a little less than what I predicted, and Chicago scored a little bit more. And the week before, Chicago and those guys were just about on. I'm still waiting for Chicago to have a big game. And I'm going to kind of go high on this one, hoping both offense and defense show up and I see what I did in the second half, all except for allowing them to score that touchdown. So I have to give it to Chicago still, just with our defense being ranked the way that it is, seeing what Justin did last week. I'm going to go 32-21 Chicago.
Whoa, 32.
Well, we got to get a point.
Do you have any defensive touchdowns?
Sometime. If the Lions can score 30 points, there's no way Chicago can't do it.
Wait, what?
I said if the Lions can score 30 points in a game, there's no way Chicago can't do it.
That's true. That's true.
That's me being a little bit of a homer tonight. I've actually been good the last couple of weeks.
There really is no reason except for there is a reason, but they should be able to do it. You're right.
Please don't throw to Pettis tonight. Please.
I was gonna say over under how many drops?
Don't throw to Pettis.
Brooke, what's your over under on Pettis drops tonight?
Oh boy. Would he drop 3 last week? Oh boy. Oh.
If he gets targeted, maybe he won't, but
exactly. If he gets targeted,
don't have to.
I'm gonna say at least a minimum of 2 drops, 1 catch.
Okay.
What's your
catch? You are a great fan, Brooke. You're actually giving him a catch.
I gotta give him at least 1 because that is gonna screw the team if he drops all 3.
I you know, and because we've all been talking about him lately, he is probably gonna have the game of his life. Tonight will be the night, unless cold and wind bothers him.
Oh God!
Then he won't. Do you think Eddie Jackson? I'm sorry, am I messing up the
No, you're fine.
The rundown. Okay, Bears are they're +1.
+1 underdogs. Okay.
Okay, really? It's sponsored by Butterfingers. You can get that little patch on his uniform, Vernon. Do you think Eddie Jackson gets an interception?
You know, Eddie Jackson, I believe, has gotten an interception every game but 1.
He didn't get one last week, right? Over under 38.5.
I'm thinking Eddie Jackson's gonna get one again tonight. He's that good at watching QB and watching those plays. He always, except last week, but Bill Durr made up for his Eddie Jackson.
Okay, all right. Are one of your scores when you gave him 32? Is one of them a defensive touchdown? Or does the defense at least set up the offense?
You know, I'm going to say I haven't seen a defensive touchdown in it'd be nice to have a pick 6 and that would be lovely to have a pick 6 game. But I think the defense will get the turnover, hopefully set it up. But again, it's going to be what offense are we going to have coming out there? Yeah. Because our offense, we can get it down to the red zone. We can't score. Thank God Santos can kick.
Yep,
he showed up last week.
Yeah. I predict, because someone put it on there, I predict Mustapher is going to shut up all his critics. He's going to be like, this was for you, Brooke.
Oh, jeez.
We make this block.
Yeah. If
he is not going to hike it into his crotch.
If he
over under, he hikes it into his crotch this week. That's another thing. Because every week he's going to hike it right to his crotch. So, like, why do you do that, Sam? It's not where it goes. Justin would like you to stop.
Oh. He's got Kyler Gordon with the interception this week.
Okay. If Mama Gordon's listening, you got your baby boy with an interception this week. And he is going to benefit as well from Jalen Johnson being back in the lineup. So
excited about Jalen being back in the lineup.
Yeah, that's going to help.
Hopefully there's more blown coverages.
Oh my gosh.
We won't talk about blown coverages.
First offensive play by Washington. Somebody missed their assignment, man, wide open. Carson Wentz with the bad arm throws this wobbly 50-yard touchdown.
Oh,
And everyone's looking at each other like, what? Wait, that was you. And then we'll all be like, oh my gosh, this is so Bears.
oh, that would be something we would do, because it seems to be that has been our luck this year. But, you know, the one thing, I guess, out of it all, you know, I was really worried. I'm like, let's, you know, stick in Simeon just to see if it's Fields, you know, or if it's the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and I believe I said that in the back chat one time, you know, I throw them in the way stuff has been going the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
One game just to see if it's Fields that needs more work or if it's the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But after watching last week, second half, he's progressing.
Yeah.
Now we just hope he keeps going.
Yes.
Okay. So we're getting towards the end of it, and it's almost getting close to game time. Is there anything you'd like to say? Shout outs to anybody?
Shout out to all those listening to us. Thank you for listening to this all-female pregame show. And shout out to you, Brooke, for inviting me to co-host with you. And just shout out to Chicago. Everyone in Chicago, let's go Bears. I know I talk about you, and I will always talk about you. But I am a Bears fan no matter what. That's all I got, Brooke.
All right. Huge shout out to the everybody watching. Kind of going through the things. Diab, you're not on here tonight, but see you in the comments. Shout out to you, missing you, bud. Vernon had some great comments on here. Obviously, we got to give a shout out to our producer, Frank. We can't leave Frank out, you know.
Yes,
Frank would feel unloved if we left Frank out of there. All the Chicago Bears fans, NFC North fans, or any fan in the NFL that is watching us for the pregame for the Chicago Bears Commanders game tonight, huge shout out to tuning into us. Huge shout out to Kristen for coming on and co-hosting with me tonight. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
Yes, you as well.
Get your insight into it. Our sponsors, it looks like we have Moore's, is it Tilly's Bar and Pub, and Under Armour, from what I can see on this one.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to the sponsors that sponsor our podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a pleasure bringing the pregame. Hope everybody enjoyed it. You know, I get nervous doing these and kind of taking over for Diab tonight in his spot. Hope I did okay.
Did great, Brooke. You did great. You're natural.
Well, thank you. I'm still a rookie, as everybody calls it, learning. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Chicago Bears pregame show. Let's go Bears, bear down. I don't know if you have a drink with you tonight, Kristen. That's usually something Diab and I do.
It's in the refrigerator, but I can drink my Dr. Pepper with you.
Okay. Well,
My
obviously
liquor.
tonight, I don't know where the thing is. I actually have them in Golden Light. So I have a beer for tonight. So we're still, you know, I figured, you know, we've been losing games if I'm not drinking. So here's one up tonight.
Cheers.
Cheers. Go Bears.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
Thank you, Frank, for giving me